a message for those called to the Fifth Avenue Underground Club. Hello, everyone. My name is Tessa, and I'm here to introduce you to Reagan Rodriguez. Reagan is a futurist who teaches stratosphere wealthy legacy families how to become impact investors. Hi, Reagan. How are you?
I'm doing better than I deserve. How about yourself?
I'm doing very well. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, we'll get started here.
Perfect.
So, I took some time this morning to reflect on today's show, and I wanted to think about how I could provide more value. So, let me begin with, have you ever felt like you've been living your life on autopilot, following the invisible script that was maybe handed to you? And maybe it was long before you ever had a chance to question it. I know I've felt that way before. And that voice used to say, wake up, work, nod, smile on cue. And of course, it would tell me to perform. And then it would also tell me to perform again. And then, did I say, Tessa, it would tell me to perform? And all that time, I would tell myself that it was freedom. But deep down, I always knew that something was off. Okay. And I don't know about, have you, and I don't just mean you, Tessa, I mean others that are listening to this, have you ever heard a whisper that is behind that noise, the intention behind that routine, a quiet knowing that the world you've been participating in maybe isn't real? That's something, you know, and then something maybe shifts. Since we're going into the holiday season, as Christmas parties. Hey, if you're like me, maybe you're at a party watching people and you're noticing they're just rehearsing joy they don't even feel. Or maybe you're scrolling through smiles online, right? And you sense the hollowness behind it. Or maybe you look in the mirror for the first time and you admit that you do not recognize the role you've been playing. That's when it happens. At least for me, it did. It was like a split, a fracture. It was that first clean break from the herd. You then see the script, finally, and you see it played before you. And maybe it says what to study, who to follow, what to fear, and who to obey. I want you to realize something. This is a script that's written for the mass compliance. It's not made for sovereign minds. Now that you've watched this, I'd like you to start noticing how everyone around you is simply reciting corporate jargon, pretended smiles, inherited beliefs, choreographed emotions. It's as if there's a mask. And once you see those masks, you can never unsee them. You then stop laughing at the empty jokes. You stop kneeling to hollow authority. You stop participating in those rituals that drained you for years. And suddenly the crowd senses it. They sense that you're no longer one of them because you have crossed a threshold. And they may never forgive you for it. Have you ever noticed that society tolerates anything except for anyone that has stopped performing? Ask the ones who have refused to bow. You thought awakening would make you free, but instead, it's going to make you dangerous. Not because you broke the rules, but because you finally saw who wrote them. When you awaken, you don't become part of something, you fall out of everything. You stop fitting in at work. You stop resonating with shallow friendships. You maybe sit at family gatherings like you've arrived from a different dimension because it feels like exile. It feels like loss. might feel like the price is too high. But what you're actually experiencing is the purification of self. I want you to know something. Excuse me. I need you to know something. Belonging was the cage. Exile is the key. The herd will always punish the one who stops acting because your awakening threatens the entire performance. Let me tell you what's going to happen. They'll probably call you arrogant. They'll say that you're insane. They might even call you dangerous. And understand these are not insults. These are confirmations that you're no longer the forgettable many. You're becoming the rare few. I mentioned earlier that I had said to myself earlier this morning that I wanted to add value to those that are listening. And it just reminded me of something just now. Do you ever feel stuck? Because I felt that way before. And I think I know the real reason why you might feel stuck. Right now, you stand in that cold clarity of truth. But truth without direction becomes despair. You tore down that false script, but you have not written the new one. This is where awakened people collapse. They see too much, but they don't do anything with it. They awaken, but they seem to wander. They see that cage, but they build no kingdom. You're not stuck because you're broken. You're stuck because you've outbroken the world around you. You're stuck because you're waiting for someone that's going to be at your level of awareness to tell you that you're not crazy. You're evolving. And there is a place for people like you. And that place is not among the herd. It's not in the corporate maze. And it's not in the hollow cliques that you left behind. There is this circle that is reserved for the sovereign, the awakened, those who refuse to kneel. The circle that moves quietly, strategically, and powerfully. Where masks are removed, truth is currency, and every member is going to build empires versus identities. The circle exists, but it's not for the masses. And it is not for the comfortable. It is the Fifth Avenue Underground Club. And most people will never hear of it. And those that do will dismiss it. And those who need it will feel it in their bones the moment they recognize it. It is not a networking club. It is not a mastermind, and it's not a course. And it's not another echo chamber of pretenders. It is a private circle for those who have awakened and refuse to turn to sleep. Let me tell you what kind of people are members of this club. We are a society of entrepreneurs. We're creators, investors, misfits, and sovereign minds who have burned their masks and are ready to build something great. Inside, you're not going to learn how to perform. You're going to learn how to command, to acquire, to grow, to yield sovereignty like a weapon, not through hustle, but through clarity, through strategy, through your presence. This is where your awakening falls into initiation. You're going to have a moment of recognition. And if you're like me, then you have felt the emptiness of that fake game, the suffocation of the masks, the exile from the herd, the disillusionment of noise. And if that's you, then you are already halfway through the door. I want you to feel this truth rise inside of you. Why do I say that? Because you are not lost. You are being called, not to return to the script, but to write your own, not to perform, but to lead, to ascend. We do not solicit or induce people to work with us. You have to be invited to the dance, so to speak. Membership is not about status. You cannot buy your way in. It is about alignment. It's about identity, awakening. The reason why the herd cannot enter is because they fear the fire that we've already endured or that you have endured. The crowd cannot follow because their comfort has become their master. But you saw the illusion. You endured the exile. You survived the silence. And now you stand ready for the one thing that you've earned. It's called sovereignty, direction, brotherhood, strategy, and power. The Fifth Avenue Underground Club is not the next step. It's the right step, the inevitable step, the step every awakened man and woman eventually must take. Because once you see the game for what it is, you then cannot return to being a pawn. The invitation isn't spoken, yet I hope it is clear to you that this message is not entertainment. It is a reading of your soul, a mirror that is held up to that part of you that refused to die. If you felt this, if it hit you in the place where you cannot lie to, if you recognize yourself in these words, then you already know what comes next. And it's not a subscription, and it's not a pitch. It's an initiation. It is a quiet step into a circle that moves in silence, builds in private, plays a entirely different game. You're not like most people. And from this moment forward, you're going to walk with those that refuse to bow. When you are ready, you will step through it. I think that's it.
Thank you. Well, if you want to join the Fifth Avenue Underground Club, there is a link. It is an invitation only. So you, in order to unlock all the tools, network, and strategies to raise capital, everything that's included, you do need to fill out a form and reach out to Reagan. So thank you, Reagan. And I believe that it's just like you said, this is an amazing opportunity for people to really take their life to another level. If they're tired of the old, what they've been doing, right? They don't want to be a part of the masses. So thank you so much, Reagan. We appreciate you. And if you do want to get notifications when we go live, you can hit the bell, and we'll see you all next time.